You know, I gotta say, I feel like I watched a completely different match than a lot of other people. Because honestly, the amount of thumbnails and tweets and headlines that I'm seeing about United deserved that win or we were the better side, like I completely disagree. Like in every sense of the word, I disagree. Don't let the possession stats trick you. Don't let XG trick you guys. Villa played their game and we played into it yesterday. It was plain and simple. They tried to beat us with the initial press. When they weren't able to do that, they were happy to sit back, let us run up the pitch, and then hit us on the counter. And that's exactly what they were doing. It was multi-dimensional. It was very effective. And again, we played right into it. I don't think we deserved to win that one. I thought we were wasteful. I thought we were sloppy. And I thought we made more than a few individual errors that led to that result that were completely avoidable, in my opinion. But we're going to talk about the result because Manchester United lose 2-1 to Aston Villa at Villa Park. I mean, to gift Aston Villa their 10th win on the bounce in the league. Not happy about that. I've got thoughts on that. I've got thoughts on the performances. Although I've got three takeaways. You guys know what you expect by now. Thank you for everyone who jumped into the live stream as we did a watch along while we were watching that. I don't often get a chance to do the watch along. So it was really cool to get to kind of experience that with you guys again. It's been a minute since we've done those, but you guys know what to expect. I got three takeaways. We're going to go through individual performances, and then we're going to get your thoughts on that as we go along. So make sure you're liking, make sure you're subscribed to the channel if you guys are new as well. We are on the road to 3K. I did promise if we got there before Christmas, which is like 2 days away, Dylan and I will grab the winner of that giveaway something from the Mega Store, because Dylan and I are going to be literally leaving Christmas to go into Manchester. Can't wait to get there. We'll see. I mean, with Bruno out and stuff, this could get dicey real quick, but we'll see how it goes. But don't blame me if we lose. And don't forget, this is the last match reaction from the studio for like a week or so. So keep that in mind. So how's everyone doing today? Let me know who your thoughts are in the chat here. Danny says Dorgales and Sangare. Yeah, that's right. It's AFCON. Did kick off. I think Morocco got started with a big win. I think Mazraoui had an assist in that. So I would have been mad if he hadn't started or if he hadn't done anything. I would have been really upset with that. Morocco, remember we talked the other day that United have apparently lodged an appeal with FIFA against Morocco about that, but we'll see whatever happens with that. But yeah, AFCON is kicked off. Mali played Zambia, I think. I don't know what the scoreline, but yeah, one of the players that we've linked with in the past, Dorgales, and then one of the players that we've scouted here in the channel, Mamadou Sangare, both started from Mali. Last time I checked, they were up 1-0. I can't watch it because I don't have beIN Sports, but Sangare, I think, was having a good match from last time I checked. It ended up being 1-1, Pats and Daka, but it looks like Mamadou Sangare was man of the match for Mali. Let's see what we got here. Most dribbles in the match, most tackles in the match, most duels in the match, 14 duels, fucking hell. Geez, 6 out of 6 dribbles. Jeez, man, 14 out of 17 duels. Wow, 6 tackles, 1 interception, 7 recoveries. Dang. You know what? I'm not gonna lie. I'm glad I scouted that guy. He's a very good player. Big up, Jim. Good to see you. Stream works today. So let's start with some news because I'm gonna just try to put off the negativity. You guys saw the raging yesterday during the watch along. That was me watching the game for the most part. But let's talk a little bit about some news because we keep getting updates from Fabrizio Romano and a possible exit from the club, and yet we are talking about Joshua Zirkzee. Romano had this to say. Roma are advancing in talks with Zirkzee on personal terms as a top target for January. It doesn't seem like Gasperini is all that big of a fan of Evan Ferguson. He said as much recently. Romano adds, the deal still depends on United decisions. Roma want Zirkzee as soon as possible, but United have several players out with injury and for AFCON as well. So that was Romano yesterday. Now, if we fast forward a little bit today, we get some more updates from Italian outlet Il Messaggero, which is a very trusted Italian outlet. You guys, I always make sure that when I see rumors coming from outlets, I always look up the outlets, especially if I'm unfamiliar with them. I always want to look them up and see if they're reliable, see where they rank on that tier list, and see just what their record is. So always do that ahead of time. Nothing from Frikais, nothing from Team Talk, nothing from Caught Offside, none of that shit, none of the bro, trust me, or according to sources. I don't want to hear any of that nonsense. But Il Messaggero said that Roma have actually now made an offer worth 40 million euros for Zirkzee. which is, when you break it down, I guess, is a loan fee of 5 million euros. And then there's an option to buy in the summer for 30 million euros. And then 5 million in add-ons will go to United if Roma qualify for Champions League this season as well, which I got to say, it's not awful. What's 40 million euros in pounds? Real quick, I'm going to do some conversion. That's almost 35 million pounds. What did we pay for Xerxes? Xerxes fee. What did we pay him? What did we pay for that guy? So like a tiny little bit. It's like 1.5 million less than what we ended up paying for him is what we. So we basically recoup our money in that regard. Bexy, welcome, bud. How's it going? Or girl, I really don't know. I reckon United will sign definitely in January. I also think they will get a midfielder and a left wing back. Yeah, we talked a little bit about Semenyo the other day when all the release clause stuff came out. That is where I think he'd probably suit. I mean, you don't try to look at it as a fullback. He would be that Ahmad on the left, I think, but he could also maybe just slot in anywhere up front, honestly. I mean, Shesko is our only striker. He's coming back from injuries a little bit. I did put a poll in the chat. Let me know what you guys think we could be doing in January. Let me see where that's at. So I said with AFCON, Mainu and Xerxes potentially leaving, Bruno potentially being out for a while. We still don't know. Where do you think we should strengthen? So far, midfield's winning, and attack, defense, and wingback are split. But you guys let me know what you think. Get involved in that poll. Jim says, I don't want Xerxes to go, but he will never get the time he needs to be good, so he needs to go for his career. I mean, at least his brother is not out here wearing T-shirts, up against the hoarding. I mean, come on. Beck says, United play well yesterday, but they still weren't good enough. I actually thought Ugarte wasn't as bad. Ugarte on the ball is absolute dog shit on the ball. He's absolutely dog shit on the ball, man. You guys were watching with that watch line. I called that switch to Dallo, and then as soon as I called it, Xerxes or Ugarte just shits the bed, man. Big a box. Good to see you, dude. But what do you guys make of these Xerxes stuff? We've got some pretty serious talk here. I mean, this is a big claim from a big Italian outlet claiming that Roma have actually made a bid. We'd pretty much recoup our money, give or take 1.5 million or so. Can we afford to lose Xerxes in January? We're running low on attackers as it is right now. Is he one? I mean, he doesn't really seem to be in the plans. We bring him on. It looks like his job is to kind of be like a bounce pass outlet, like higher up the pitch, basically, like we do with De Ligt when we're trying to build out from the back. That seems to be what we're doing with this guy. If Roma want him, I mean, they can give us Pisili in exchange. I mean, Gasperini doesn't use Pisili a whole lot, and for some reason, I have no understanding. Roma fans love Pisili. He's such a good young midfielder. We need a midfielder. I'll take Pisili in a heartbeat. We'll just call it a day. Straight swap. Go give us Pisili. He's very good on the ball. He's good defensively. He drives that ball up the pitch. He's got a good shot, man. Help us out, dude. There's nobody at Roma that I would really, other than Pisili, maybe Kone, but Kone's not. I think he's at AFCON though, I believe. So, yeah, Danny says Kone. Yeah, I've liked Kone for a while. I've always loved him. Thought he's just a good player, good midfielder. I really like him a lot. I think he's at AFCON though, so it is unfortunate. Bexy says United can't rest a good performance and lose. Roll some heads and get the players in. This could transform the squad. Yeah, we need players, and we're going to talk about this a little while. We're still doing transfer news, honestly. I mean, if we get Semenyo, then yeah, Xerxes, fine, because Semenyo is definitely an upgrade on Xerxes. You can almost argue in some ways he's an upgrade on Ahmad, but it's not like that's not me saying Ahmad's bad. Maybe just Semenyo is marginally better. He definitely offers something a little different to Dorgu on that left wing back slot. Maybe he's just, instead of Dorgu getting up and then putting the ball in the box, maybe Semenyo actually just carries the ball in the box. Although Dorgu actually, was putting balls in the box, they just weren't great. But so Romano claims like on Semenyo though, but like that we've made fresh contacts this past weekend along with City. I'm not convinced that we're getting Semenyo. I think, honest to God, if City are legitimately in form and Liverpool are all in form, I think that he is a definite guaranteed starter there, just in terms of where they need help in their squads, because I think Doku is injured last time I looked. Someone correct me if I'm wrong. Savinho is just shit. So there's 2 slots right there that they're going to jump right in. If Salah leaves in January, then I think that you can definitely see Semenyo go to Liverpool, just take over. He'll literally just slot right into that right wing spot easily. So I just don't. Yeah, I don't know if I want to spend that much when we've got serious priorities in other area of the pitch, in my opinion. But that's why we're here. I'm here to get y'all's opinion here. Box says Semenyo might to choose Liverpool. We'll see. I mean, if he wants minutes, guaranteed minutes, I mean, it's pretty much it. I like, yeah, and Box said, like, I would take him for sure. I'm not going to be that bothered if we don't get him, honestly. I do think we need some more goals. I do think we're just not super clinical right now. But I do think that has a lot to do with just Shesko coming back from the injury, like literally his first start in like a month or so. No AFCON players as well. Bruno missing half the match. Bexley says United should act like a big club in January. Sell Xerxes, Manu, and Ugarte. Realistically, get Semenyo and Neves. Promote our youth player. I mean, I know Chris Wheeler. I posted about this the other day. I know Chris Wheeler linked us to Neves, but then literally in the same exact tweet, in the second part of the first sentence, just says no confirmed interest yet. So he basically just did what I did in my January deals video and said, "Hey, Neves is available in January. He should be an option for United." As a little, I mean, I could be a journalist at this point. Let's be real. I like Neves a lot. I really do, but I just don't know if it's going to happen. Honestly, if you put a gun to my head right now and made me guess which midfielder United would probably bring in January, and this isn't what I want necessarily. This is just who I would think. To me, you'd have to think it's going to be Conor Gallagher, and you'd have to think maybe we're going to try to swing a loan with an obligation or something on that one. That's just my feeling, gut feeling. I think that's what we're probably going to go for, but I feel like Semenyo could very easily go to Man City. I mean, he'll walk into like either flank for them right now. I don't really recall any other attackers that we're linked to, like off the top of my head. Have we been linked to anybody else up front? Really, not other like legitimately like linked, not El Mala or some shit. I'd still, honest to God, I would still put in a cheeky bid for Jared Bowen in January. I think he could be an excellent experienced option pretty much anywhere across the front. I think he could play as a mobile kind of striker role. I think he could play on either wing. West Ham are shit. I think what is he, 29 now? You get him for a couple years. I think that could be tops. I think that would be excellent personally, but it is what it is. What are you guys saying here? Bexley says, never write off Ineos and transfers. They know what they're doing. Doesn't matter if City or We'll see. I just think, Bexley, that we have more priorities than that, to be honest with you. I think that I would rather us get midfielders. We need 2 midfielders for sure, and then we could figure out the attack later. Bexley says, who would want to work with Slot? He's boring as hell. Also, I honestly think Pep will leave in a year or two. Amorim is young, fresh, and modern manager. I get, nothing that you're saying there is not necessarily true. I mean, false, but sometimes when I watch Amorim, especially with some of his press conferences recently, and then some of his indecision during matches, sometimes I feel like he's almost too young, if that makes sense. Like, I'm like, was this too big of a step too quickly for him? Should we maybe have seen him how he did in like La Liga or something for a hot second? Maybe go take over for Simeone for a couple of years. And I don't know. Maybe we get someone who's like an Emery for 4 or 5 years and then look for the younger guy. I don't know. Sometimes I get that feeling. It doesn't mean I'm Amorim out or anything. You have to question something sometimes, right? So, but Amorim's got his critics. He's got his fans. I think that's the same with anybody. Players are the same way. But yeah, I don't really know what's going to go on with Xerxes. The Xerxes stuff's kind of been a little quiet recently. Obviously, Kobbie Mainoo has been a lot of the talk, and Bruno has been a lot of the talk after those recent interviews he did for that Portuguese outlet and with Rio as well. I think we all kind of lost track of the fact that Xerxes has been heavily linked to a lot of clubs. So we'll see. I would take Pisili in exchange. If Kone were not at AFCON, I would take him in exchange, but it just is what it is. Box says, are Juve still in financial turmoil? Yildiz will be a good pickup. Have we actually been legitimately linked to him, or has it just come from like Gazzetto dello Sport or something, or Corriere dello Sport? I mean, Yildiz, what are his numbers? I mean, where is he going to play? He's going to play as a rotation 10 probably, right? I don't see him playing in. Let's see what Yildiz numbers are. This is what we do on these live shows. We're going to look it up right now. Plus, he's pretty much starting every match. They're not going to lose Kenan Yildiz, honestly. If anything, like, who else would they take? So we got 5 goals, 4 assists. Yeah, he's not going anywhere, bro. He's not going anywhere, man. Who else would they take? I would definitely take Kefren Turam. I think he's Locatelli. I really like a lot. I really like Locatelli. Conceição just got injured. They picked up Lois Openda too. Interesting. Who else do they got? Zagrova. I remember Zagrova. I did a scouting report on Zagrova a couple years back. Jonathan David. I still like me some Jonathan David. Who else do they still have here? João Mario. Interesting. Yeah, they've got some players. It's definitely not the same Juve we're used to seeing, honestly. But we'll see. Bexy says, I do think Amorim, though we've been terrible, is starting to build something. Yeah, he's building something. I think it's less Amorim is building something and the club is rebuilding, and Amorim is the coach that we're doing that. We're no longer buying players for managers specifically. That's not the way we're rolling anymore. We're buying versatile players, we're buying mentality monsters, we're buying players who can play for any player, any manager, any system, really. Which is fine. I agree that if Manu is having some issues and needs to go, like just the way it is, you guys know I got to keep that same energy that I kept for Garnacho, Rashford, Ronaldo, Sancho, everybody. Box says pass from Como. Yeah, we did a scouting report on Nico Paz a while back. I like Nico Paz a lot. I think he'd be excellent player. Like I said, how much we get from Mano? It depends on who you sell him to. Obviously, we're trying to. If I don't buy for 1 second that he's injured, I think that we're trying to keep this as democratic and diplomatic as I always say democratic when I mean diplomatic as possible with all this, so we don't hurt ourselves transfer wise. We want to make sure that we don't let it be known, oh, we're having issues, he's angling for a move or whatever. He's injured, so somebody still wants him. And that's why it's a convenient little calf injury that is like a week or 2 weeks, right in time for the January window. I'm not buying it, man. I actually am not buying it. So I do think we're trying to keep all that in house personally, but you never know. I've been wrong before, but so have a lot of other outlets. So let's move on to this match, you guys. Make sure you like and make sure you subscribe and make sure you're voting in the poll as we kind of wrapped up the transfer news there. So far, 77% of you agree with me that we definitely need a midfielder. It's split. It's still 8% between attack, defense, and wingback. So I'll leave that open for a little while longer, but we're going to talk about the match here because the big news obviously was no Kobbie Mainoo in the matchday squad whatsoever. 4 youngsters on the bench obviously was a big deal. Shea Lacey, Jack Fletcher, Fredrickson, and Bendito Montato, who did not get minutes. Neither did Fredrickson as well. Another unchanged back three of Luke Shaw, Aiden Heaven, and Lenny Yoro. First start for Benjamin Sesko since his return from injury and that food poisoning issue. Mount Cunha, obviously behind him, Dorgu and Dallo as our wingbacks. Ugarte was the literally only remaining midfield option for this one to partner with Bruno if Kobbie was injured and Casemiro was suspended. It just is what it is. I mean, Mainoo, I don't know what's going on, man. He was fine against Bournemouth. Then you had T-shirt gate, and then suddenly gets the calf injury. Like I said, I mean, it's just he needs to go probably, honestly. If this is Amorim in the club disciplining him for that and just not wanting to make it so public, then fine. I don't care if they're disciplining him. To me, if you get disciplined for something, then that's it. Like, you got your discipline, let's move on from it. But if he wants to move and they're all trying to keep this quiet, then he just needs to go. Hopefully, if he is just getting disciplined, just draw a line under it, squash the beef, and move on. But again, if Kobbie wants to go, like, it's just bad timing because now not only could he have gotten a lot of minutes against Villa with no Casemiro, but now with Bruno injured, we don't know for how long yet still. This could be a situation for Kobbie to come in and get more minutes, and now he's just effed himself there. It's clear that if he doesn't turn around and say, you know what, let's just move on. I'm here for it. Then he just doesn't want to be here anymore. It's like an irreparable rift between him and Amorim at that point. He could have started for like the next month, Kobbie, but it is what it is, man. I agree, Bexy. For a 20-year-old to be upset about not playing it's not good enough. And I agree with Amorim with what he said. Like he said in his pre-match presser in that embargoed section that he doesn't think it's bad for a 20-year-old to be on the bench for Manchester United, and I fully agree. Kobbie has missed a lot of matches, and he's effed if he does, effed if he doesn't with this injury. Either it's a legitimate injury, and now we have to ask the hard question if Kobbie is injury prone because this is a second injury this season. 17 matches missed last season with 2 injuries as well. Or he's not injured, and then it's just a bunch of bullshit, man. Lawrence, welcome. Is Kobbie worth a little less than Garnacho as he hasn't played much? He should go on loan first. I mean, we'll see, man. It's just not a good situation. Like with Bruno gone, Ugarte shit, and now this Kobe gate. It's just absolute embarrassment, man. It doesn't help anybody at all. Beck says Bruno being out isn't as deep as what people are saying. We needed to reassess everything in midfield. We've just had three awful results at home. If Bruno is out of position, I mean, Bruno might be out of position, but he's literally the best midfielder in the league this season. So, yeah, we are way, way worse without him. I'll never understand why people think that like Bruno is bad or something. Like he's playing out of position that actually makes him look better. That he's playing out of his natural position and he's still contributing as much as he. If we didn't have Bruno this anymore this season, we would be way lower than we've been right now. He's been absolutely the best midfielder in the league by far this season for sure. I agree, Box. It is a massive blow. So, moving on, just look at some numbers and some individual performances before we dive into my three thoughts, you guys. Because it feels like when you look at the numbers, the statistics, it's almost identical for like our last several matches. And even if I hadn't watched it, even if I hadn't looked at the numbers, like you could probably have guessed, like, oh, we had a lot of shots, a lot of possession, a lot of passes, failed to score more than one goal. It sounds pretty much similar. And then when you look at him, you're like, yep, 57% possession, 15 shots, six shots on target, 200 passes in Aston Villa's half of the pitch, 34 touches in their box, and just one goal to show for it. Should have had at least two more goals. Cunha, I don't know, everyone's talking about Cunha's header. I'm not even talking about his header. I'm talking about that early chance he had, that really early on that he put it like a foot wide. Like, I don't think Cunha put a single thing on target besides his goal. And then that weak shot towards the end. Like, I could care less about the header. It is what it is. Should he have scored? Probably. But I'm worried about that first shot that was way wide off the mark. That was not good enough. You could probably maybe take solace in the fact that, hey, we won our duels, right? Awesome. But no, I'm not having that. I don't care if we won 56% of our duels. We gifted Aston Villa their 10th win in a row because we were so poor individually on the day. It was bad. Too slow, too hesitant. It was literally like watching turtles like nose a ball around the pitch, man. It was embarrassing. We held on to the ball too long. We lost it several times as a result of it, and it's not good enough. You can't have Dallo get so far up the pitch time and time again if we're just going to take half a year to build up and then take too many touches and then just lose it. Like, it's just a waste. It's just a complete waste. Let me get checked in here. Danny says, we're goose with that. We're absolutely fucked without Bruno, man. We absolutely are. Welcome back, Darko. It's been a minute. I hope you're doing well, my friend. So as the manager and the owners act smartly when Bruno is out, then it could turn out to be a blessing. Well, there's only so much Amorim can do. All he can do is tell Ineos, hey, I need midfielders. He can't really do anything other than all Amorim can do in this situation is team selection at this point. He can't really do anything else. So, yeah, his finishing is not great, Cunha. It is not great. He got a goal. I mean, that's 2 goals in 2 matches for him, so I'm not going to complain too much, but he could have had more. Like, he definitely could have had more. Big up, Rob Taff in the house. Hope you're doing well. Yes, please do hit that like button, subscribe. We are on the road to 3K, like I said. It's a big ask. If we somehow get there before Christmas, we will do a giveaway, and the winner will get whatever they want from the mega store when Dylan and I are there in a couple days. I'm not even lying. And keep it within reason. I'm not talking like go get me a $1,500 poster of like signed Eric Cantona poster. Not going to happen. But you want a jersey or something? I'll hook you up. Don't worry about it. You want a sweatshirt? We'll hook you up. But we got to get the 3K. If we don't get the 3K, it ain't going to happen. We're very, very close. We're like 200 subscribers away. I believe in you. Bexy says, Bruno is our best player, but overall results have been crap. Well, yeah, but that's just convenient to say that has something to do with Bruno. But it says, don't be surprised if Martinez turns out to be gold in midfield. Yeah, and that's where we are. And I think that's the bigger problem, though. And that is what I mean. Like, it reflects poorly on Ineos that this is where we are, that we, when we're down, Bruno's down, all we have, our only option is Fletcher or Lissandro Martinez playing out of position again. So he was a bit disappointing yesterday. I mean, his goal was very good. It was perfectly placed goal. I think, and we're going to talk about it. I've said about Cunha a couple of times now. He does a lot of stuff that I don't think a lot of people appreciate. He fights for everything for the full 90 minutes. He's tracking back. He's making clearances. He's defending. He's fighting. He's carrying the ball. He gets it what it is. I need him to be more clinical with these chances because you don't get a lot of chances, and we need to do better with that. So, yeah, he should have scored way more than that. Lauren says, Cat's 22. because we won't get the best midfielders in the summer without investing. Well, I like I said yesterday, spend a little more in January because you could go if you strengthen in January, we could go deeper in the FA Cup, more revenue. We could qualify for Europe, automatically more revenue, and it'll pay for itself. If you have to pay 20, 30 million more to get someone like Stiller or Anderson or Wharton or something, if you just say fuck it, we're going to go drop 75 mil, they can have Manu in exchange, then that's worth it. I think Anderson, someone like that, is a difference maker between not qualifying for Europe and not. I'm not saying we won't qualify. We could still qualify, maybe, but having someone like Anderson in midfield, I think, definitely pushes us over the edge. And I think that it's just worth it. It's definitely just worth it, man. But Bach says if Leacher turns out to be good in midfield, maybe the club won't buy. Yeah, I doubt it. That can't be that was an emergency situation. I don't think we would have seen that otherwise. Bexy thinks Mount has been player of the season. Well, I got thoughts on Mount because I didn't think he was great yesterday, personally. So Darko says, Sean, there's an issue between Shesko and Cunha. Cunha, yeah, and that's, you guys know that that's been one of my bigger criticisms of Cunha. I think it has a lot to do with him wanting to score goals, and so. But I've said this. Sorry, am I back? That was random. Sorry about that. There's people working on a tree behind my house, and they may have just tapped the wire out there or something for the Wi-Fi. Sorry, guys. Anyway, but yeah, my biggest criticism of a lot of our attackers, Cunha, Umbumo, Ahmad, they hold on to the ball too long. There's opportunities to give and go, opportunities to put the ball in sooner, and they don't. And that's been a criticism of mine of Cunha's for a while. I don't think it's necessarily a Cunha and Shesko thing. I think it is just a Cunha thing, but it is what it is. But Danny says, give Manu to Forest on loan as a sweetener on top of a deal for Anderson in the summer. Yeah, I think we have to go. We can't afford not to do something in January. It'll show me exactly what Ineos's ambitions are, or the lack thereof, for this season if we don't strengthen in January. There's no need to wait till the summer. If you have a target, just go get it done, man. We have some opportunities. We can send players on loan. We have players that we don't want. We can sweeten the deal. Big up, Device. Good to see you. Hope you're doing well. Good to see you guys again. So, yeah, the individual performances not entirely great. Let's go one by one here and look at what we're talking about here. Starting with Senna Lamens. I feel bad for Senna Lamens. You can tell that with Yoro being in poor form, with Heaven being so young, without DeLitt, without Maguire, and all this shit, and how shaky we look in those defending those transitions, you can tell that he is just not too confident with the players in front of him, and I think it's causing him to kind of be keep 10 goal in between two minds here. He made some good saves yesterday, but again, I think he was heavily let down by his teammates in front of him. I feel really bad for him because he is a good keeper. It's just there's too much chopping and changing going on in front of him, and I think it's starting to get in his head. Buck says, I think the second goal was savable. I blame Dallo for that second goal, and I blame Yoro for that second goal before I'm ever going to make point a finger at Senna Lamens there. Savables, I think technically anything's savable, but there's when someone gets into that position so easily because there's no pressure on them. And Yoro, if you zoom out and look at how Yoro played the entire match, like Yoro was guilty of this time and time again. You know exactly what Morgan Rogers is going to do, so why do we let him do it is the problem. I can't really blame a keeper for doing that. I mean, there's only so much you can do. He's got 21 feet of goal mouth to handle, and he's relying a lot on his teammates to do that, especially his defenders. And Yoro has just been shit for a little while now. But it's hard. I think maybe he could have done better for that free kick against Bournemouth the other day, but I don't know, man. Danny says probably wasn't expecting the shot the second time Yoro didn't get close. Yeah, it's Yoro, man. You've got to put pressure on the ball. Keep your legs moving. Don't show the attackers inside. Show them outside. And I don't think Yoro is too comfortable in those situations. But Box says Lamens went with his wrong hand, and the shot wasn't placed in the far corner. I didn't see the second shot live. I watched the replay. Did he go with his right hand or did he go with his left? Because you want to go with your right especially on a shot like if it's coming from your right going to your left, you go with your right so you can palm it out that way. If you go this way, you're not getting enough power on it, if that makes sense. Um, let's see here. Darko says, I just judge Lamins in comparisons with Onana. Well, he's definitely been better than Onana. It's definitely been better. If Onana were still here, we would have conceded a lot more goals, honestly. So, Box says, York been poor all season. Did it for Spurs late on. Yeah, he's in a dip in form. He's not bad. He's young. And that's just part of it. I've said it many times. I said it about Garnacho. I said it about Menu. The one consistent thing you're going to get from youngsters is inconsistency, and we're seeing that right now with Euro. But Shaw, I didn't think Shaw was bad, but he wasn't entirely solid either. I thought he was guilty a lot of. I mean, and this goes for all our defenders yesterday. Guilty of getting caught too high up the pitch too frequently. He does that time and time again, and there are times when it's perfect and he wins a challenge. But like with Euro being so shaky, Heaven being so young, and the way Villa were playing, I just didn't think it was the smart thing to keep doing. It kept putting us in difficult situations. Defensively, though, I mean, he made a couple tackles. He had 2 tackles, 4 interceptions, 3 clearance. He's really, his job back there is to kind of handhold a little bit, I guess, not without dissing Heaven and Euro too much, but he has to do that, unfortunately. Box, I don't blame players for the fee. I definitely don't. It's not their fault. Euro is very good, but he's young, and I think that the way he started out maybe cause a lot of us to forget that he is young. He is going to have dips. I mean, how many 20-year-olds are starting center backs for major clubs throughout Europe? I'll wait for you to tell me. And when you only come back with like 3 or 4, that kind of proves my case. He's a very good player. He's just in a dip in form because he's very young. And he's getting put in these situations defensively that he's not super comfortable. He's had, like yesterday, forcing Kevin to go wide so many times. You could tell he's just not comfortable with it, unfortunately. So, but Lawrence says he missed it with his left hand, or did he? Yeah. Danny says we need Gay here. I would take Gay in a heartbeat, man. Although I do, might as well just let Glasner come do, because if Palace sell Gay in January without getting a replacement, dude, Glasner's gonna walk, dude. They already effed them after they didn't let him in the Europa League for winning the FA Cup, dude. I would be so pissed. Let's talk about Aiden Heaven. Looking a little bit more comfortable with each match that he starts. Aiden Heaven, he won a lot of duels yesterday, 7 of 9, 12 defensive contributions, completed 1 out of 1 dribbles, 1 out of 1 long balls, 2 tackles, 1 incredible last man tackle that I thought he hurt himself with, but he did very well. Made an interception and had 7 clearances as well. The more Heaven is playing, you remember when he first started, he looked very shaky, gave away early yellow, once got subbed off. He's getting more and more comfortable, and sometimes you can, but that doesn't mean every youngster and every player will do that. It's up to the player at that point to just start doing that. And so, but I think Maguire and De Ligt have been a major miss, unfortunately. Everything's going so fast. Jim says Bruno's stats are best in the league because he wants to do everything, and he's had rubbish players all around him until Cunha and Mbeumo come in. Getting 2 good midfielders, maybe. Or it'll allow him to maybe play. If you just get someone next to him who's more mobile and more combative, like your Andersons or your Whartons or even a Gallagher or a João Gomez or something, someone who's maybe got a little more pace to him than Casemiro, it'll help him a lot. But the fact that he's still doing this, I mean, and you see recently too, we've been playing with a little bit of a diamond where like Casemiro or yesterday Ugarte will kind of rest right in front of the defenders, which lets Bruno kind of get forward. So Bruno and the other midfielder and then the 2 wingbacks kind of make a wide diamond, or you can call it like a front 4, I guess, too, as well. But in which we've seen that in the last several weeks now, as well. Yeah, I think Heaven's looking better and better with every match. Personally, like I said, his numbers were really good. And again, we bought Heaven to be part of the first team picture. He gave him a low shirt number. Wilcox said he's got an eye for him to be in the first team. Box says Bruno's stats would be even better if Cunha and Mbeumo finishing. I mean, Bruno's stats would be amazing. He'd probably have double the assist if we'd had just better structure around us. We weren't a complete shit show for the last 6 years, better attackers. I mean, it's just he's setting up people on a plate. I mean, Wout Weghorst couldn't get a single goal in the league. I did see him score at Old Trafford, though, against Real Betis. But all right, let's get this one out of the way real quick. I'm not going to go in too deep now because I got more to say on him later. But we need to talk about Lenny Yoro for a second. I don't know what's going on with him, but he needs to figure it out and he needs to fix up because he's been poor for a little while. It just looks like, like I said, it's dips in form. He's in the lowest low right now when it comes to that inconsistency that you get from young players, but he's got to find a way to claw back out of it. I mean, again, like I said, to be fair, he's 20. How many 20-year-old center backs are starting for major clubs throughout Europe? The number is astronomically low considering how many big clubs there are right now. But again, even if we wanted to, we don't have any fit alternatives right now back there. We just don't. But I'll talk more about Euro later. But he's just not having a good match, dude. He's just not. He's in a horrible run of form right now, unfortunately. Diogo Dalot, I mean, this is a case for the stats not always telling the whole story because the numbers will tell you Dalot put in a shift, right? But watching him, did he actually look good on the night? I mean, I didn't think he ever does enough to put pressure on the ball. And again, last night, same thing. He's constantly just camped out in Villa's half, waving his arms, looking for the switch, and I'm calling for it, but because we're so slow, it's just not on. And so at that point, you just need to kind of drop deep a little bit and help out in that regard. And again, because we're so slow, that switch needed to be like on a counter, not just everybody stop standing still and Dallow's just waiting for it. Like that's just the worst decision to make at all. But he also needed to keep better eye on that space because he left so much space in behind. And I'm going to show you that here in a second in case we lost the ball. And we did because it seemed like every time we lost the ball, all that space where Dallo left is exactly where Villa tried to put it. Find Rodgers in that far left space, exploit Euro's kind of discomfort defending in those areas. Yes, Dallo got forward a lot, but he didn't do anything on that. He created no chances. He completed 1 out of 6 crosses. It just wasn't good enough from Dallo last night, man. Tobias says I rate him a 4 out of 10. Usually, if we do a match reaction the same day, we'll do a player ratings. But because we did the watch along yesterday, I was tapped out, man. I was exhausted. Box says Euro just needs some time out of the team, in my opinion. Yeah, fortunately, we just can't. We just don't have the options unless, especially now with Bruno and Kabi, we literally don't have any options. You can maybe put Fredrickson in there, but again, Fredrickson's probably a little better on the ball than Euro from what I've seen, but it's just not good enough. Danny's sick of Dallo. You just need to get rid of him, dude. Unfortunately, it's just not a priority. It's like we can't have all different priorities. The very nature of a priority is that something's got to be most important, and we just have too many of those. It's impossible. It's like having multiple favorites. You can't have multiple favorites. One thing's your favorite. That's it. He does love him a step over, man. He absolutely loves him a step over. Big up Jarvis in the house. Hope you're doing well, Jarvis. You get one of these. What's Jarvis saying here? Says, Sean, I know you usually focus on breakdowns of younger players. Will it be possible to take a closer look at James Garner? He's been excelling across so many key midfield metrics this season. Yeah, I've mentioned him a couple times, Jarvis, in the last several weeks as an option. Now I know he's out of contract, but Everton have the option to extend by a year. I don't know right now what the status of his contract talks are with Everton. I would definitely bring him back as an option, even in January, if there's no idea. But again, Everton kind of have the cards because they can just extend. But I think he's good. He wouldn't be my first choice, but if the whole contract situation is, and there wasn't an option to extend by a year, it would seem like just a no-brainer almost, right? I really like James Garner. I was annoyed that we let him go. I thought he was better at the time than Fred. I still think he's better than Fred. He's obviously doing very well at Everton. He's a good player. I like James Garner a lot. I'd probably put him above João Gomez, but definitely still wouldn't be my first choice. But big up, Jarvis. Good to see you, man. Bexley says Dallo did all right yesterday, but we could have done. Yeah, he's part of it to me was tactical, Bexley, because I do think he was just because I'm going to show you the average player positions here in a second. Dallo was just camped out in the opposition third, like the whole time, just waving his arms, like doing one of these. And I'm like, dude, you can see that pass is not going to happen. You've got fucking Ugarte. That first ball that Ugarte just put into Rosette, Dallas should have been like, oh, never mind. Nope, scratch all that. We gotta go back to basics. That's not gonna happen. Yeah, I could do a deep dive. I'm not gonna have time to do it before I leave for my trip. I gotta do a scouting report tomorrow as well, and then I gotta get all sorts of shit sorted on Wednesday because we're leaving Thursday. We're leaving leaving here probably around noon Thursday to go to the airport, so I'm not going to have time. Something I could definitely go ahead and look at for you, Jarvis, as well. But yeah, needless to say, if you've been checking out the videos the last couple of weeks, I've mentioned James Garner more than a couple times because I do think it could be an option. Tobias says Dallo can't take advantage of his physicality. Dallo he's the guy's final ball ever been good. He's had a couple of decent crosses recently, but they're just not been good enough. It's not consistent enough for me. It just isn't. Danny says, I agree. Could usually drop into fullback, wingback. Yeah, he can do a lot of things, man. Rever, welcome back, Rever. Been a minute. Dallo is best at fullback. Wingback, he's average. I mean, because he's athletic, but again, what I'm looking for from these wingbacks is chance creation, crosses, balls into the box, and Dallo just doesn't. I've seen him put in like a couple of good crosses in his career, and it was like the last 2 weeks. He had that Trivella cross that I think Cunha almost could have gotten on the end on. He had another one recently against Bournemouth, and that was it. Philly's Barbershop Talk. Welcome, UTV. I don't know what that means. Let me know, but welcome to the channel. Make sure you guys are liking. Make sure you subscribe if you're new. We are on the road to 3K. If we get there before Christmas, I don't know if that's going to happen. We'll do a giveaway. And like I said, winner will get whatever they want from the mega store when Dylan and I are there in a couple days. But I hope everyone's doing well. The boss says he's suffering Ugarte. He's suffering of his own limitations because he's can't really do much else on the ball. And he's suffering because he's also not been playing. So he's just rusty. He's slow. He doesn't really know what's going on because you're not playing ever. I saw somebody tweet, though, earlier that every time Ugarte's started, we've lost. And I'm like, well, that's just not true at all. I responded, I listed like so many matches where Ugarte started and we've won, i.e., Man City, the Manchester Derby last season. So I don't know what people think, man. You guys can't believe everything you read online, man. Bexy says Casemiro's dropped loads. Yeah. I've been saying that. It's that international break, just whatever little second wind he got over the summer, that international break kind of killed it, dude. It just killed it. Yeah, Lawrence, we might see us switch up a little bit. We'll see. I think in this situation, it might be needs must considering just injuries and everything else. But Jim says Dallo is not a United player. God knows what Amorim sees. Maybe we can convince Jose to bring him to Benfica, although that would require Jose to be at a club longer than a season, which is a big ask these days. But Jose is the one who brought him to United from Porto. And remember, Jose rated him very highly back then. But maybe we can convince him to go to Benfica or something. Maybe they can send us a player. Maybe we can get Shelder up or something to come in and play number 10. I scouted Shelder up a long time ago. He's such a good player. Whoever says, basing on performances for the club thus far, Ugarte is worse than Jemba. Yikes. Yikes. I'm going to let you guys do that. Boggs says, none of our wingbacks create consistently. Dallo, Maz, Dorgu. Ahmad is great there, and even his final ball. Yeah, Ahmad's problem for me is just holding on to the ball too long. He doesn't really have a right, though, and that's the thing. Like, then put him on the left and just let him whip balls in. Like, it doesn't. I just don't get it. Oh, up the Villa. Gotcha. Awesome. So we got an infiltrator. Well, hey, we're happy you're here anyway. You got me a view, so I'm not going to complain too much. Somebody mentioned Dorgu. Let's move on to Dorgu. He was absolutely perfect for his part in our goal, Cunha's goal. Got the assist, obviously, from after stealing the ball. I think it was from Matty Cash, just outside Villa's box, found Cunha. Dorgu created 3 chances, made 5 tackles, won 10 out of 12 ground duels and 3 out of 4 aerial duels. So literally like 13 out of 16 duels on the night. Arguably his best performance in a United shirt so far from me for Dorgu last night. I thought he was like stupendous. Clearly got gassed towards the end there, but I thought he was a great performance from him. I just need him to do better on his crossing. I need his crossing to improve immediately. Because that's the area for me that's definitely lacking for Dorgu is crossing. Twisted welcome says we should just move Martinez in the midfield next to Casemiro. I knew that the people have been asking for that for a while. I prefer Licha in defense, but honestly, we might not have a choice right now, especially if Bruno's done. These injuries sometimes just make the decisions for you, dude. Tobias says his crossing is good. His crossing, it can be hit or miss. Like I said, Dorgu's biggest issue for me when it comes to putting a ball in the box has always been he's trying too hard to put it like on a dime when he just needs to cross it sooner and just put it in the box, dude. by the time if you're trying to place it, you're waiting too long, and then it's just going to find a defender. Don't wait until you get parallel with the penalty spot. Don't wait necessarily always till you get to the byline. If you're in the opposition third and there's that space in behind, kind of like that ball that Shesko played in the other day against Bournemouth that Cunha got on the end on, put that ball in early, about maybe 10 yards outside the box. Whip it into that corridor of uncertainty. Let your attackers figure it out. You don't have to try to pick someone out every single time. Just put it into space and let them get on the end of it. Yeah, I agree, Box. I thought it was an excellent performance from Dorgu. I still think we could maybe have a better option to rotate, maybe an older option like a Raum or like a Mittelstadt or DeMarco or something, maybe just to come in and kind of teach him a little bit. But again, Dorgu's not a wingback. Dorgu is a fullback, and so his other one may be suffering a little bit. Let's talk about Bruno for a hot second, because I thought he was quietly putting in a little bit of a shift on and off the ball. I do get annoyed that it's heart and mouth a lot because he holds onto the ball along and he invites those fouls over and over and over again. It's that same shit from Bruno. And he does well. He does perfectly well. It puts his body between the opponent and the ball like you're supposed to do. You shield the ball. But he always gets kicked and he always does that little spin move and falls down. And I'm like, every time I'm like, you're going to catch a knee to like the thigh or the calf or something. You're going to catch a stud to the ankle. Something's going to happen and we're going to lose you for a couple weeks. I'm not saying that I blame it. I'm just talking about the way he plays that in general. Ended up being forced off at halftime, obviously. Looked like a little bit of a hamstring issue. I got more on that a little later on, but we'll see. I haven't yet seen anything confirmed, so if somebody has, let me know. Twisted says cross to Cunha was perfect. Yeah, it was, man. I don't I'm more mad about that early chance that Cunha had that he put wide rather than the header, but the header should have done better. But Fox says that Onana foul was nasty. To be honest, scissor tackle. Yeah, it's absolute bullshit, dude. It's absolute bullshit. There's no inconsistency with refereeing decisions, man. We've seen that. Oh, this whole weekend has been just messed up. I think Spurs were denied a pen on Saturday. Was it that we were awarded one for, like the same foul? Remember that pen we got when Casemiro won that ball first in the box, and then I forget who we were playing, but they kicked the bottom of his foot. Yeah, we got a pen for that. Spurs didn't. Like, that's the shit that I'm talking about. Bloody Yay, welcome, says agreed, set pieces were poor from a team who scores a lot from. Yeah, typically, but again, it's because I think a lot of time Mount was the one taking them, which I just didn't agree with personally. Let's talk about Ugarte. Because first start for him in a very, very, very long time. First minutes period for him in a very long time. And he looked it. He seemed a bit lost. And I can sympathize with Amorim to an extent, right, for not selecting him, because I just don't think he's very good, Ugarte. I think he's very limited. But this rustiness is what's going to happen when you don't play for a while. He just looked slow, and just what's going to happen. Same as Shesko. On the ball, he's not good at all. He's not a deep lying playmaker. He's not a holding mid. He's a defensive midfielder. You guys, when it comes to sixes, 3 categories for me. You got your holding midfielder, you've got your defensive midfielder, and you've got your deep lying playmakers. And Ugarte is a defensive midfielder. His job is to just win the ball, quickly find a teammate. That can't work in this midfield because you need your pivot to be able to be halfway decent on the ball. Ugarte just is not it. He's just so poor. But when you let him just sit in front of the defense and break up play, he's marginally less bad, but still, in my opinion, nowhere near good enough to be starting week in, week out for Manchester United, personally. Rever says, in 2 or 3 years' time, youngsters like Manu, Dorgu, Heaven, and Yoro will be twice the players. Yeah, that's the plan, right, with young players. They're all super, super young. But they need time to develop. They shouldn't be started. We said that about Garnacho. The problem is they also have to have mentality, and some of these youngsters they get too big for their britches too quickly. Sports says, welcome back. Says, happy for Lacey and Fletcher. Dallo can't be captain, only Euro. I don't think only Euro is getting blamed. I just spent 5 minutes bashing Ugarte. We did bash Dallo a bit earlier. Euro was majorly at fault for that first goal. He was halfway at fault for the second goal. So you call it like you see it. Everybody, you get criticized when it's correct. You get praised when it's correct. And I've said that many times. Euro is not bad. He's just young, and he's in a dip in form. That's what you get from youngsters. That's just is what it is. Yeah, I expect it. I just expect it. Twisted said Ugarte's best performance. I said 20 minutes yellow card. He lasted till second half. I'm joking, guys. You're funny. You are funny. Bexy says Ugarte offers zero creativity, like zero. He had a couple moments. You guys remember last season when we were working that ball in and around the opposition box? Ugarte was somehow popping up out of nowhere with like these little 1-2s. He did that like once or twice. Don't ask me where that came from, but shooting not great, passing not great, positional sense not great, composure, press resistance not great. He's basically like a practice cone out there, man. It's ridiculous. Bach says Ugarte was always limited, but he looks a shell of the player. I mean, just send him to Atletico and get Gallagher. That at least ticks a box for us. And I think Gallagher is a definite upgrade on Ugarte personally. I think Ugarte plays a little bit more of Diego Simeone style anyway. Sports says since 2013, we're still a massive clear out and rebuild. Here we are again saying the same thing. Ineos signed you garbage. Now remember that Barada was not here when we signed Ugarte. That was not a Barada thing. That was not like I think that was when Ashworth was still. We didn't like that was that first summer, and so there was a lot that's still unknown. I'm not saying that it wasn't, but yeah, like Ten Hag, Ashworth, those guys. I don't know what they saw in Ugarte personally. We definitely overpaid for him for real. Moving on, we'll talk about Licha since he did get half of a game to come on for Bruno. Took up that role in midfield. Didn't look half bad. Good. I mean, we know what we can get from Licha, though. He's good on the ball. He's extremely press resistant and tidy under pressure. Like we've known that for years. He needs to start in defense. If he can play 45 minutes, he can start now, and that maybe gives Euro some time to get rested. Maybe that allows us to get Heaven out. Maybe if you gotta always keep an eye on these youngsters because Heaven is progressing, but the moment it looks like maybe he's starting to dip a little bit, you've got to manage that minutes a little bit better. Problem is, we don't know what's going on with Maguire and De Ligt still. But please, he can play as a 6 in a pinch if needed for like half a match, but this is not his position. This was an emergency one-off situation. This is not his position. So, but again, given where we are right now with injuries, with Mainu's situation and Bruno and all that stuff, I wouldn't be surprised to see him starting there a couple of times. So, Sebastian says his form went off after the opening Ugarte. Yeah, I didn't know why we didn't play him against Spurs. Ugarte, I thought that we needed a little bit of his physicality. I don't think he's good on the ball, but it is what it is. Ifs, ands, and buts. Chanino, I like that name. Welcome. Said, I'm surprised how weak Ugarte looks now. Losing possession, falling down and waiting, and then slowly jogging back. Confidence issues or comfort zone, or just rust. He's literally like not played like at all this season. So could just be rust, and that's match fitness. He's not quite up to speed. Shesko looked rusty as well because Shesko hasn't played in several weeks. And so I do think that rust does play. I think I'm not accusing you of this, but I think people in general sometimes don't understand like not being match fit, not playing. Even me, like even in the last decade, if I go a couple extra weeks without playing, I'm a little rusty. My rhythm is a little off. My like muscle memory slows down a little bit. Like as you get older, obviously, like now I'm 40, you do kind of the rust builds up quicker and it takes a little longer to shake off. I can't play for 2 hours once a week like I used to do, but I can still kick around. It's all good. Rever says the fan base, I think, play their part inflating the egos. Some of these young players, though, the overpraising. Yeah, I do think that Amorim kind of was a bit spot on. I don't agree with him name dropping Amos and Cheeto and Collier. I think that was out of order, but I do think that he's somewhat right. That I think with social media, it's a big issue. Now, the question for me is, and I posed this question in my player care class that I just finished up last week, is where does the club's responsibility lie when it comes to players and like social media and shit? Because it's like saying a club should monitor how they drive. Like, no, their parents' job to monitor how they drive. Their parents are the ones who give them cell phones and shit. Like, at what point does the club need to get more involved in that kind of stuff? I don't know. I really don't know. Sports Obsessed says, can't sell Xerxes. Shesko is not fully ready after 30 minutes onward. I've told you, man, go get Jared Bowen in January to be a main rotation option up front. He can play there. He has done it. Like, go get him. West Ham or shit. Go get him. Send Cheeto on loan if we want to, but go get Jared Bowen. He'll help us out up there, man. Yeah, like I said, Box, he hasn't started. I think it was at Grimsby that he started. Might says Ugarte is low on confidence and squad player. I mean, how much did we pay for him? I don't I don't want to pay that much if he's a squad player. I really don't think that that's how much I want to pay for a squad player personally. Um, Shinuna says, well, some fans are annoyed at Euro because he doesn't resemble the player who was an aggressive beast when we signed from Lille. No, I think he's just young, and obviously he was in and out of rotation a little bit when everyone is fit, and he's just had a dip in form right now. It's just people forget. Like I said when I talked about him, how many 20-year-old center backs are starting for major clubs in Europe? It's not very often, so we have to keep that context in mind as well. Mike says, would sell Martinez Ugarte next, need to buy a new center back. Yikes. I think Leach is arguably one of the best center backs we've had in a while. I just hope that he can stay fit. Where it's still up in the air after that ACL issue. I don't call him injury prone because the first two major injuries were contact injuries. It's the ACL that's worrying. And so if he can stay fit and he looks really good, he looks like he hasn't really lost a step, then awesome. But if he can't, then but we might need to be looking at defenders anyway because I don't know what's going on with the Maguire situation either. But yeah, Euro's in a rough patch. I'm not going to be too worried about it quite yet. The problem is right now because we don't have many options, it is hurting us because we have conceded a few goals because of him. So and that doesn't mean he's bad. It's just, but you have to call it like you see it, man. Mason Mount, not honestly, not my favorite match from Mount. He had a couple bright moments, good tackles here and there, but I just don't think he was involved as much as he has been recently. A lot of that could have to do with Bruno going off. A lot of that could have to do with AFCON players being gone and whatnot. Maybe that fluidity is just suddenly not there anymore. But like his set pieces were absolute dog shit. I don't know what was going on with that free kick. Some of his like delivery on corners and whatnot was just shit, man. Like why wasn't Shaw taking those corners? Shaw's a much better crosser of the ball than Mount is, man. It's ridiculous, dude. But not the best match for Mount in my opinion. I forgot he was on the pitch, honest to God, for a while because I'm like he's not doing anything. Cunha, I think once again he's involved all over the pitch. His goal was perfectly placed. Should have had another goal. He could have done better with the header. It is what it is. That long range effort laid on was just kind of lazy, but still, that's 2 goals in 2 games from Cunha at a time where we really need him to step up. Let's hope that the conversion rate starts to pick up speed now that he's kind of back. He was out for a while. I think we forget to, but if he can just get those chances, get his head up a little bit, maybe find a teammate more often, I think it'll help us out more too. But I'm not going to complain with 2 goals in 2 matches from Cunha personally. Box says, not his best game yesterday, Mount, which is unusual as he's been a consistent positive since he's returned. Yeah, not great. Yeah, Dabasi, I forgot he was on the pitch, honestly. Like, just really did. Shesko, first start for him in a while, right? Because he was injured. You can tell he's still not match fit. He looked slow, looked a little bit just a step behind everything whenever I watched him. I think he could have and he should have at least had a goal. Just again, a little slow, heavy touch here and there. Need to get that ladder out in training because I need his legs to get quicker. Just start high stepping, start getting the tires out, man. We needed a little bit more movement around him too. He was isolated and he was winning headers and whatnot, but like nobody, I didn't know where Mount and Cunha were. They were too deep. And like Shesko was constantly on his own, literally sandwiched between like 3 defenders. So it didn't help us. We didn't do any favors. We were just too slow at getting the ball forward. So it was a bit of a thing, like just a skeleton shift from him last night. Box says Cunha needs to stay an hour after training with me and Heaton, do some shooting drills. Yeah, he just needs to work on his finishing. So many shots off target, man. I agree. We did sign Shesko too late in the window. I agree. We signed Lamens too late in the window. We signed Mbumo too late in the window. I had hope when we got Cunha in literally like the first week of June, and I'm like, awesome, I like this. And then we just waited forever. And exactly like what you're saying, the fact that managers need players to get up to speed with tactics and preseason and all that stuff. You know that going into the windows, this is why you need to get your business done early because managers do tend to wait to introduce players. Ten Hag did it with Casemiro. Ronaldo missed preseason under Ten Hag and didn't get started. I mean, that's just part of it. Preseason is very, very important, and especially with the World Cup this summer. If we don't get all of our business done before World Cup, I'm losing my shit. I'm just telling you right now, I'm gonna lose my shit, dude. Janino says, I don't like managers who are not innovative. Amorim can't create anything but resorts to fan suggestions when the pressure builds up. Leach in midfield is old news since Ajax days. I know a lot of people have wanted to see Leach in midfield. I never quite got it. I mean, part of Ajax, there's a lot of players at Ajax that, like Frankie de Jong started, he was a center back. He wasn't a midfielder, and they moved him. A lot of players like that at Ajax. That's part of total football. You need to learn how to play multiple roles in the same system. Box says, I've seen the impact similar profile players from the same league have had when Waltamata and Ekitike, and I believe Shesko. We'll see. I mean, the fact that we signed him late didn't help. The injuries didn't help. And the fact that he literally, how many games have he and Shesko and Cunha actually started together? Like there was like one or two, and he's just not coming back in a time where we're missing a lot of other players as well. Bruno went off at halftime. Like it's just like one of those perfect storms, right? Might says, do you think the scouts need to find more gems? We are low on money. Keep trying to find by guys who worked with our director of football in the past. Like Shesko. Did Shesko and Vivel, did they overlap at Leipzig? I can't remember now. Cunha. Do we work with Cunha too? Who worked with Cunha? I don't remember that one either. But yeah, I agree that there's something to be said for actually scouting and recruitment. If you're new to the channel, we do a lot of scouting on the channel. Like tomorrow, I've got a scouting report video planned where we're like, and that doesn't necessarily have anything to do with United. I just like scouting. I'm a bit of a scouting nerd. I've been doing it for a while. Before I had the channel, before I worked with Stretty News, I had my own like blog for scouting. So scouted a lot of them. So a lot of those players have moved on and done some things. Some of those players haven't. It's hit or miss. You never quite know, and a lot of it is down to career path. But you never know. But the boss says in midfield misses, it goes straight to the goalkeeper. Yeah, our defense, it's just too easy. I mean, we're so poor defending in those transitions. The rest defense is awful. I don't understand how we have three center backs and we're gifting so many goals. Like, and it's not even like there's a lot of chances that we're conceding. It's just we're conceding from the chances that we concede, man. It's ridiculous. Chino said Shesko got a full preseason at Leipzig. So, well, it's not about match fitness preseason. It's not just about match fitness. Preseason is oftentimes about tactics, getting familiar with the manager, because you could play a completely different system at Leipzig to what Amorim wants you to play, and then it doesn't matter if you come in and you're cold. You got to learn Amorim's system. You got to get to know the coaching staff and all what the expectations are, your role and everything. So it's not just about fitness necessarily. But he's still got more goals and involvements in the league than Florian Wirtz. So I'll take that every day. Bugs says, shout out to Fletcher and Lacey. Yeah. Yeah, it's awesome. I love that. All right. I got my 3 thoughts because that was a long time already, but we're good. I'm happy that everyone's jumping in. You guys know I try to make sure everybody gets heard, that everybody's opinions and their thoughts are shared. So I've got 3 takeaways. I do this every time. So speaking of gifting goals, number 1 for me, oops, sorry, wrong ones. Let me go back. I'm going to take this off the screen for a second. I forgot. I combined 2 of my slideshows recently because I had to make room and then forgot that I did that. So make sure you guys are liking, though. Make sure you subscribe. Number 1, we are gifting goals this holiday season. 2 things when it comes to our defending these days: individual errors and conceding goals from very few chances that we give the opposition. Yes, like I said, Yoro's young. He's in a poor run of form right now. But again, we have to expect that. Heaven, again, super, super young, but like 4 shots on target for Villa, an XG of just 1.02, but they came in with 2 goals and all 3 points. Bournemouth also had nearly double their XG the other week when we played them. Wolves, 2 shots on target, 1 big chance, but they got that goal from it. Yes, we won, but the pattern I'm looking at, West Ham, pretty much the same. Palace, pretty much the same. Very few chances, very few big chances, but they still get goals. Again, we're not giving away a ton of chances, but it's just individual errors, moments of switching off, planets misaligning, however you want to look at it. And before you know it, we've conceded. It's absolutely ridiculous, man. Rever says, have you read the book The Scouting Game by Chris Robinson? I have not. I've got a couple of scouting books back here. Let me get these. You got Scout Stories by Cotterill, and then you got Anatomy of a Football Scout by Cotterill. Very, very good. Both very, very good. Boxes. I remember opening day versus Arsenal. We outperformed them at the grand number. Yeah, the Arsenal game, we were the better side by far. We probably deserve more from that game, but just again, I didn't think that goal should have stood, but it is what it is. But yeah, we're not conceding a ton of chances. We're just conceding goals from the few chances. And again, like I said, Dallo, If you look at his average position, way high up the pitch. Look at that space in behind Dallo. Like, and this is Dallo's average position on the night. Nothing but space for Villa to play that ball into, and they did it over and over and over again. That's where their first goal came from. I'm not a big fan of this lopsided like system that Amorim likes to play. Like he likes to sit a little more defensively on the left hand side and go a little bit more attacking on the right hand side, and I don't like it. I don't like that we constantly try to build from the left and then switch to the right. I think it's just not very creative. I think it's predictable, and I think that it's not effective. Personally, so I don't like this. Jarvis says it's because we're disjointed while defending. It's not our natural game. It's how it looks to me. I mean, just call it any way you want it, man. Like this is where our players set most of the time yesterday. And Dallo, look at that. Look at our right hand side. It's completely just done for that. And I think Euro was also majorly at fault for both these goals. Second one, a lot had to do with Dallo, in my opinion, but he just isn't comfortable defending in those wide areas where like a traditional right back would be defending. Villa knew it. They exploited it. They constantly sent Morgan Rogers, who is absolutely amazing, by the way. Like the guy came from Real Madrid. So like he's a very good player. And to be fair, I mean, a back three is difficult for most defenders, especially young defenders, to switch to. Young defenders, you don't have that wealth of experience knowing when to press, where to press, when to get wide, when to talk, who to leave. And that's where you need leaders. You need vocal. You don't need to wear the armband to be a leader. Luke Shaw is 30. Talk to him. Lamens, talk to him, dude. Like, it's not difficult to do. And so, like, it's difficult to go to a back three when you've not really played it throughout your entire career. I'd be surprised if youngsters like Lenny Euro and Aiden Heaven are just experts at it already. And again, youngsters, people think that like when it comes to growth and development, especially for young players, they think it's like this steady incline. It's not. It's peaks and troughs, and it goes up and down. And Euro is in a trough right now. But again, at the end of the day, still not good enough, and we got to call it like we see it there. Sorry, I got a sore throat. Let me get some water. Make sure you like and make sure you subscribe, please. Talked so much yesterday during that watch along. My throat is super, super sore. It doesn't help that it's so hot up here. I got a quad house, so like the top floor is literally 10 degrees warmer than the rest of the house. It's ridiculous. So moving on, number 2. Please, please, please be fit, Bruno. Please be fit. Because shit, when it rains, it pours at United, man. Not only are we struggling to find consistency this season, but like the one consistent player we've had in the last 6 years went off at halftime with what looks a bit like a hamstring issue. Amorim said after the match that it was soft tissue, but he worries that Bruno might be out for a while. Hamstring issues can be iffy depending on the grade. There's like grade 1, grade 2, grade 3. Grade 1, maybe like 1 to 2, 3 weeks. Grade 2 could be like a month, maybe a month and a half. Grade 3 might require surgery. So it just depends on the grade. Hamstrings are the most common injury you're going to get in sports, but they are also the most recurring issue that you're going to get in sport. This is also why I've been saying for well over a year, who scouted Mason Mount? Because he's not going to get any better. Same with Luke Shaw. Same with any player that's got hamstring issues. I don't care if the player looks amazing. When I go into the transfer market and look at a player's injury history when I'm scouting, and all I see are hamstring issues, I move on immediately. It's not worth the risk to me, man. But I think what we can get from this is, he did play the remainder of that half, Bruno, and so maybe the issue's not too bad, and maybe he was taken off as a precaution, and we're going to assess it. So maybe, you hope that that's a good sign. But if it's serious, then we're fucked. We just are. But Amorim did say we don't know what the issue was, so we will see. Just please be fit, Bruno, because he's been a standout not only for United, but honestly for the Premier League this season. He's been a standout in the Premier League since he joined. We don't have enough quality center midfielders as it is, let alone someone who can do anywhere near what he does for us. Newcastle's coming up this week. Dylan and I will be there for that one. That's going to be a big midfield battle. You've got guys like Bruno Guimaraes and Sandro Tonali, who are class midfielders running the show. It could get ugly real quick without Bruno to maybe drag us out of the shit and like maybe just take advantage of the few opportunities we get on the ball. But I doubt he'll be back by this weekend. But But again, we can't just rely on Bruno. Amorim's got to figure out a solution. The other players need to step up as well. The question is, can they? That's a concern. So, oh, let's get caught up, dude. I have no idea, Dabasi, where DeLid is. It's really annoying. Amorim said he had an issue with his back. I still don't know what happens with Maguire, dude. Chanino says, trying to be realistic, draws are more dangerous than losses. 10 points from 24 in the last 8 games. There is a familiar theme. Draw, draw, win, loss, loss, win, draw, draw. Yeah, it's not good enough. You could say, like, we've only got 2 wins in our last, like, 10. We've 2 losses, but the rest are draws, and the draws hurt you, man. Like, it's just true. Like, 1 loss, like, 1 win is worth 3 draws. 1 loss, like, any 3 matches, you could take 2 losses and a win, and it's the same as getting 3 draws, man. It's embarrassing. Killer Prism says, what do I think of Leach in midfield? I think that if you're going to pick any defender to play in midfield, it's Leach is probably your best bet. I just don't. It's an emergency situation, so I don't think it's something that Amorim was like, yeah, I've been planning this for a while. It's needs must yesterday. I don't think it's something that we will see a lot of. I think we might see it a few more times just because depending on Bruno's injury, but I'd prefer Licha in defense. Personally, I think as far as the way we play defensively, I think he's the best defender we have. We saw it last season. I think he's very good. Jarvis, let me know what you think, though. Welcome to the channel. Jarvis wants to know, when we defend, it doesn't look like the players are operating on instinct. It looks like coached in theory, but uncomfortable in execution. Dude, the Bournemouth goals were just embarrassing, those 2 goals. And, like, it was similar against Wolves. It was similar against yesterday. We had warning signs, man. Jarvis says the spacing, the distances. Yeah. And, again, there's nobody talking. No one's talking at all. And you watch the attackers, they know it. They start off one way, and then they peel off. Because the defender on the right hand side's just wall watching now. They're not telling the other defender to watch him. No one's talking. They're not scanning or anything to see what's going on. All you got to do is, if you're getting that tight, just keep a hand on someone. You don't have to push, just kind of hold so you always know where they are. And if you don't know where they are, you need to look where they are. But again, Jarvis, sometimes we jump, sometimes we drop, sometimes one player goes. And that's the issue. And like you said it right before, the inconsistent, that's what you're going to get with the young players. I don't expect Heaven to know all that. He's very, very young. I don't even expect Yoro to know all that. He's very, very young. That comes from experience. But we need Luke Shaw to talk to them. Licha's got to talk to them. Casemiro's got to talk to them. Dallow's got to talk to them. But he can't when he's 60 yards up the pitch the whole match. The boss says, you realize the value of things when they get sold or get injured. Yeah, Bruno has literally been our best player, man. Killer Prism says, should we give a chance? We did give chances. Amorim has given debuts to several youngsters since he's been here. Fredrickson, Amos, now Fletcher, Lacey as well. A lot of youngsters have been in and around the match day squad as well. Like, he's given a lot of debuts. I think maybe more than Ten Hag. Ten Hag, what, Mainu in like competitive matches, what, Mainu and Garnacho. I think Amorim has given 4. So, yeah, and that's what I just said, Jarvis, when it comes to the goals. It's like the planets all align. Everybody's making some mistakes, and that's what I mean. We don't concede a lot of chances, but when we do, we usually concede, and it's because just everything seems to go wrong. Everything goes wrong, man. Yeah, it does help when we're in multiple competitions as well, Dabasi. I mean, we're no longer in the Carabao Cup. We've got FA Cup coming up, so maybe, but we're not in Europe. No Carabao Cup. The youngsters probably would have had more of a chance, but it is what it is, dude. Rever says, Maguire picked up a light hamstring injury against Spurs 6 weeks ago. If it's light, 6 weeks is a long time if it's light. DeLid has back pain. Yeah, I thought I saw Maguire was back in training, but I don't know. Oh, yeah, Forsen. Forgot about that one, Ten Hag. Yeah, I remember Forsen. Didn't Forsen only play a couple matches, though? Because Elanga was Ali, right? It's hard to keep track now. I forgot about Amari Forsen. But, so, yeah, I need Bruno to stay fit because we're effed. We're just effed, dude. This is what I'm saying. It leads me to my third point. We must buy in January. Like, we must. You can see capital letters in must. Doesn't stand for Man United Supporters Trust. That is must, as in have to, as in need to, as in vital, as in crucial, as in no other excuse not to. Must buy in January. Individuals that we have, injuries that we have, what this result too showed us really fully on show was our complete lack of depth. Lose a couple players, we're fucked. That's on Ineos. Not solely the blame for it, because a lot of that has to do with the Glazers and Woodward and whatnot, but the responsibility to figure it out is on Ineos. They get part of the blame because we should have bought a midfielder. We needed a center midfielder in the summer. We needed a center midfielder all season. We need a center midfield now more than ever. Mainu looks like he's got one foot out the door. I don't for one second, again, buy this injury nonsense. If Bruno is injured for any bit of time, the need for a midfielder just became a full-blown crisis. I'm not saying we need just a full-blown, like, passer of the ball, but we need someone who's good on the ball, good progression, good passing range, but we also need players who are mobile and physical too as well. Like, you just have to. There's no excuse not to. I don't want to hear any bullshit about paying over the odds in January or that it's too difficult to do business in January. Get it done or the rest of the season can completely derail. Like, there's no excuse not to. Sure, you might have to pay a little bit more, but quality signings in January could mean a deep FA Cup run, like I said, qualifying for Europe, and that financially will make up for it. And honestly, at the end of the day, I don't care about financials. It's not Amorim's job to care about that. It's not the player's job. It's not the fans' job. That's Ineos' job to figure it out. And honestly, that it's not hard to do better than the Glazers. Literally, all you have to do is spend a little bit now to get something in the long run, and that you're instantly 100 times better than the Glazers. It's not that hard. We need help, especially in midfield. Considering the woeful conversion rate as well, maybe, again, this match was awful. I wouldn't say no to an attacker, wouldn't be my priority. You might have to add a center back to the shopping list as well. But go for the top targets, get it done, pay a little bit more if you need to. It's World Cup this summer, like I said, which also means you're going to have a month where players aren't moving whatsoever, not even talking about moves. Get it done early. Aubameyang came to Arsenal in January. We got Bruno in January. Get it done. Just do it, man. Seriously. Killer Prism says, if Bruno isn't fit, what's our alternative? Do you think Mainu will start if he's fine? Honestly, if he's fine, then I'm mad at him. If he's not fine, then he's injury prone. But Mainu can't do everything that Bruno can do. But it's, again, this is up to Amorim to kind of figure out how to use Mainu, and it's up to Mainu to kind of up his game if he's lacking in some areas. Personally, the Bassi wants Buwadi in jail. I don't for one second buy the Buwadi shit either. Personally, Danny says, I like Buwadi, but it's a lot for a young player too. Danny says, I said this in the summer, our squad gets a few injuries. And yeah, we've been saying it all season, man. We've been saying it all season. Guys, make sure you like and make sure you subscribe. And speaking of signings, what's this poll up to right now? So 83% of you say midfield, 10% say attack, 3% say defense, and 3% say wingback. Yeah, we need some goals. We need help in midfield though, man. Kabi, Bruno, Casemiro, Ugarte. It's almost like if Bruno's out and Kabi's leaving, then we almost, like, that's it. We can't just rely on Casemiro. Yeah, Rever. Ineos must back Amorim. I don't care. Like, if you're doing a rebuild, if you've got your targets, if there's a plan, like, you don't have to wait until the summer to continue that. Like, January window is here. We should already have targets, like, locked up, talks occurring, personal terms agreed, all that shit. We got Dorgu the last weekend of the January window last year, which not a good look. That's annoying as shit, personally. In the old days, that's what the Glazers did, so they would avoid paying a month's of wages and they could just pay like a week of wages. Like, that's some old bullshit. That needs to stop. But in any case, it's 2 wins for us since the 1st of November. Not good enough. Like I said, yeah, there's only 2 losses in there, but it's not good enough whatsoever. And it's not just the drop points. It's the reason for the drop points that's infuriating. Some of those matches, some of the reasons is Amorim, decision-making, risk aversion. We've seen that. In others, in this one, for instance, or Bournemouth, a lot of this is on the players because we are creating chances. We're just not converting them. And defensively, it's just errors and switching off and just lapses in focus. We had a chance to go in the top 5, but we sit in 7th right now, below Sunderland, below the fucking Scousers, who somehow found a way to get Florian Wirtz involved finally. I guess that justifies the money they paid for him, the fucking idiot. Bruno's injured, and Euro's been shit, and AFCON, and I hate everything. That's basically what I'm doing. But it was nice to see Fletcher and Lacey get minutes. Exciting that one of Lacey's early actions was to automatically just get it and shoot. Like, that was great. Shame was right at the keeper, but it is what it is. Again, Amorim has given debuts to 4 youngsters in just over a year, so people need to be patient. Again, youngsters need the most important thing for youngsters is not tactics, it's not minutes, it's a stable environment. No matter what context you're talking about, they need a stable environment, and this club is not there yet. We're still early on, and it needs a stable environment. So that's going to be more important. we'll likely see more minutes for them in the next few weeks, hopefully as well. But it's Newcastle on Friday, and again, Dylan and I will be there for that one. So we'll be chilling with Dylan in Manchester. We will, of course, check in with you guys. We'll do a little mini Newcastle preview, maybe from the airport, and maybe walking around Old Trafford before the game. But we'll also be checking in with you guys virtually. You guys know that I did it last year. It's not a big deal. Rever says, I like your hoodie. Thank you. This is and there's a link posted in the chat. This is from the United vs. Everybody, the channel's store online. This is the Class of 92 hoodie. You can also get this in t-shirt and stuff as well. There's a ton of gear in the United vs. Everybody store. Now, you can go look at the store. I'm going to let you in a little spoiler. There will be a one-day only sale on Boxing Day on the 26th. 25% off everything for one day only. So go check out the store. Go see what you like. This is, a lot of it's one-of-a-kind designs. Go check it out. But thank you. It is custom made, Dabasi. I designed all of the shit that's in the store. The Mbumo shirts that you guys have seen, the Fergie Time mug that you guys see me do all the time. You can get that in shirts and stuff everywhere. There's also there's baby clothes, there's girl stuff, there's hats, beanies, there's Christmas stockings in there. Go check it out, you guys. 25% off one day only on the 26th, though. But let me see. Thank you. I do appreciate that. Mr. Biaklian says, is the result in the thumbnail intended? What result in the thumbnail? Let me know. Did I get it wrong? I didn't get it wrong. But that's going to do it for me, you guys. I love all the new faces. I love the chat today. Love hearing everyone's thoughts. I would stay and talk with you guys forever, but I got to go get some food. I got to get these dogs some food, and I run out of notes. So until then, you guys, again, we got a scouting report coming up. Keep a lookout for the next episode of What If. Season 4, episode 2 will be out this week as well. Dylan and I will be checking in. But again, I will see you again live tomorrow with a scouting report special. I've got a fresh batch of hidden gems and future ballers and rising stars that I want to share with you guys. One of those guys that I shared a while ago, way back in the spring, Mamadou Sangare, again, played for Mali today in the AFCON. Excellent player. We scouted him when he was still at Rapid Vienna at RC Lens now. But you guys, make sure before you go on the way out, like, subscribe. If you have a couple seconds, jump on your mobile, hype a couple of the old videos recently. That does help the channel grow as well. And then consider the memberships too. It is more than just emojis and badges. You get access to the WhatsApp group for Starting 11 and Legends members. Legends members can join the weekly Kickabout show as well virtually if they want to. And then obviously there is the option for you guys to make suggestions for scouting reports or episode ideas for What If. Starting 11 and Legends members can get involved in that as well. So keep that in mind. There's a link to the WhatsApp group and a link to in the post in the channel page. They're only members only posts. Only those level of memberships can see them, but that'll kind of outline it. If you do jump in the WhatsApp group, love it. Please don't share it around with everybody. It is mainly for the Starting 11 and Legends members, and be respectful. But until next time, you guys, thank you, everybody, for joining me. I love the chat. You guys know I love it. Enjoy the rest of your day, and I will see you guys tomorrow, unless we get some breaking news today, but plan on tomorrow, okay? I'll see you later, you guys. Take